glass houses, but down the road a young man feeling like life is worthless. I mean, where the help from you? Are you scratching the surface? Let them know that the life there's a purpose. Under lack of service, putting blood in your hands, you're worthless. Seeing these curses, can you hear the pain in these verses? Be reoccurring, I don't know that this is lurking. You know what, let's get to working. I know how you feel, we got the raw deal. You know the economy's growing, can't feed the family, we need to feel. Lack of sympathy from a persona that can't relate to deal with the struggles. Y'all get expenses paid, never not half to eat a meal. Do you see a society in crisis? Has COVID got you blinded? Do you overshadow suicide? We can't be like this, because life's priceless. And all shapes and forms, you know life's priceless. Yeah, life's priceless. Life goes on, but with the radio on, take a minute to mourn all the pain in the past, the lingering on. Anxiety got us Papa Brothers, show we gotta move on. Carry this pain on, because days do get better. And life will only get better if you get a chance to pull it together. So let's pull it together. And I can't stop thinking, what if we could combine instead of hating division? Just because walls built up don't mean we gotta be any different. Just a society created by politicians causing division. How different life would be if this wasn't the way we really live. You gotta listen, you learn it from the way you come across and interpret. Are we weak-minded? Now the pain and the troubles we inherit. And because you see it's so worthless, you got the nerve to call us a burden. Hope you take all of these words in. Now you swerve a try to curve it, makes we're masks for a flu that is lurking. Social distance keep us apart, divide and conquer and burn. No wonder we feeling so helpless with the way that this is turning. And my stomach is turning. We've had traumatic and sad static and felt pain and a panic. It's caused the life to feel tragic. Do the mathematics. It's a cause for concern over islands registered in these graphics, showing the world our future ain't happy. And to say this sadly, no change in environment with a pandemic happening and the support lacking. Do right by the people, but instead you choose to sit and watch this happen. We can talk about this topic because I'm wanting to drop it. Ain't no stopping these feelings when you cage us up with these lock-ins. We just longing for some help, but there's a topic y'all seem to be dropping. Good to see my life ain't worth nothing. And these times get harder in different days. It ain't gonna feel like yesterday. I know. But brother, let it go, let it go, let it go. Cause when these times get harder in different ways, it makes you stronger than other days. I know. So brother, let it go, let it go, let it go. So let it go. Aim for the stars, raising the bars. Don't let nobody break you apart. You know what? I told you this from the very start. I can't stop thinking. And I can't stop thinking, what if we could combine instead of hating division? Just because walls built up don't mean we gotta be any different. Just a society created by politicians causing division. How different life would be if this wasn't the way we really live. And I can't stop thinking, what if we could combine instead of hating division? No hating division. Just because walls built up don't mean we gotta be any different. Any different, no. Just a society created by politicians causing division. All them causing division. How different life would be if this wasn't the way we really live. The way we live.
What if we could combine instead of hate and division? You know, and that's a message to our British Unionist politicians also. What if we could combine instead of hate and division? I mean, that song, politicians causing division, politicians jostling for position, causing division. Welcome to Restore Live on Wednesday evening. I'm going out to Restore UK on Facebook, also to the British Unionist People's Voice on Facebook. And from those two platforms on Facebook, what you can do is you can actually share this broadcast. So what I'm asking is that to each and every one that is on the live chat, and the numbers are going up rightly. This is not normally our normal starting time. But this evening, I mean, I was running late. I had things to do, and unfortunately, the things that I was doing, they run over. So I had no option. I had to finish what I was doing, and here I am. It's 9 o'clock on a Wednesday evening, 1 hour late, and as a result, I guess there's a lot of people that would tune in here at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. And maybe they will come if what we do is that we share this broadcast far and wide. Share it to your own pages, share it into the closed groups in and around Facebook. Also, what you can do is that you can tag people into the live chat and invite them along to hear this very important message. So let's start where we were meant to start in the first place. And again, I'm going to say one thing. What if we could combine instead of causing hate and division? People, there is going to come a time in the not too distant future where people right across the broad spectrum of traditions here in Northern Ireland, I believe there's going to come a time when people are going to need to unite instead of this hate and division. And why? Because what I see happening in front of my very eyes is I see respective politicians from respective traditions. They are happy to work with each other, but they're not happy to get up off their knees and fight meaningfully and proactively for what it is that, for example, what it is that British Unionists here in Northern Ireland, what it is that they believe in, everything that we've ever believed in, everything that we've held so dear. What are our politicians doing to save what it is that we hold so dear? Well, I'm going to say right now, what I see in front of my face is our politicians are doing absolutely nothing. That's zilch. They're working for themselves. They are working with their friends in other parties. That is across traditions in order to facilitate the keeping in power of party political machines. Now, who am I talking about whenever I talk about party political machines here? I'm talking about, now we can speak from the British Unionist perspective here in Northern Ireland, and I'm speaking about the DUP. I'm speaking about the UUP. Why do I single out those two parties? I single out those parties because for years, ever since I've been a child, those people, those parties, those party political machines, they have been in power. And each and every time that they've got into power, well, people, incrementally, they've lost more and more and more of what it is that we hold so dear. And you could be forgiven for thinking that this is intentional. These people, could they be moving us incrementally towards somewhere where we do not want to go, where we do not give our authority for them to try to take us, and namely this so-called New Ireland. No, thank you. If this is the way that our enemies in the Irish government treat us before that we would get to this so-called New Ireland, why then would we want to become any part of it? Ask that question. That is a very serious question. Why would we want to become part of this so-called New Ireland when right now, when the Irish government are happy to see us, British Unionists in Northern Ireland, being separated from our brothers and sisters in England and Scotland and in Wales, and also, by extension, they are happy to see us without democracy, not having been afforded democracy in the same way as people in England, Scotland, and Wales, and people, make no mistake about it, that is an absolute corruption of the democratic process. And what are our unionist politicians doing about this? What are our unionist politicians doing about the very fact that we here in Northern Ireland as British Unionists, well, are we second-class citizens? Some people would say that we're more than second-class citizens. We could be third, fourth, fifth, maybe sixth-class citizens. People, we don't matter. We don't matter to our mainstream politicians. And look, that is my claim. That is my claim. And if I'm wrong, I would like some of those politicians to come along to maybe talk to me here on the Restore UK, to talk to us, to talk to our live chat, to talk to the British Unionist people who come here twice a week to share in experiences and share in looking at the shenanigans that is going on, to share in looking at what passes for politics these days. People, what we have named this screen tonight and I smile, and I'm going to put my hands up and say that it was me that got it wrong. And why? All because I was in a rush. If you look, I made a spelling mistake on the Collaborators. You know, I put ORS instead of ERS, and someone was kind enough to actually remind me. But I'm going to say one thing. I was doing it fairly quickly. I was uploading it on a phone, and all because I was in a rush. And the reality is that the phone, it uses what you call predictive text, and I'm blaming the predictive text. Of course, I would, with a smile on my face. But look, when I went in to change it, it wouldn't let me change it. It was too close to coming on air at 9 o'clock. So listen, a spelling mistake isn't going to do any harm to that message. Collaborators, or are they actually fighting the good fight? And that's a message to our British unionist politicians. Are you collaborators? Are you facilitating the protocol to bed in? Are you intentionally not making a meaningful, proactive protest against this protocol? Are you hoping that you can get over the summer recess? Are you hoping that soon we will be in lockdown? That soon, for each and every month that goes on, for each and every day, each and every week, each and every month that goes on, that protocol is bedding in further and further and further, and in a way that what it's doing is that it is chipping and eating away at the UK internal market for goods. And what are our politicians doing about this? They're doing absolutely nothing. What I want to do is that I want to, as I prepare, because I was late this evening, but we're going to talk about various things here. And I want to play a little video. And this video, it's what it will do is it'll let me actually prepare for what's up next. So I'm just going to pop onto your screen, and I'm going to pop it up full screen. It's a little video, and I'm going to ask you to listen to the words of this video, and also look at the various video clips as they go.
2, 3, 4. I am not afraid of anything in this world. There's nothing you can throw at me that I haven't already heard. I'm just trying to find a decent melody, a song that I can sing in my own company. I never thought you were a fool, but darling, look at you. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You gotta stand up straight, carry your own weight. These tears are going nowhere, baby. You got to get yourself together. You got stuck in a moment, and you can't get out of it. Don't say that later will be better. Now you're stuck in a moment, and you can't get out of it. get out of it. I was unconscious, half asleep. The waters want to discover how deep. And I wasn't jumping, for me it was a fall. It's a long way down to nothing at all. You've got to get yourself together. You got stuck in a moment and you can't get out of it. Don't say that later will be better. Now you're stuck in a moment and you can't get out of it. And if the night runs over, and if the day won't last, and if your wishing falter along the stormy path, and if the night runs over, and if the day won't last, and if your way should falter along the stormy path, just a moment, this time will pass.
If you just bear with me for a moment, what I'll do is I'll just remove that from the screen. Okay, people, are they stuck in a moment? Are they stuck in a moment and they can't get out of it? They can't get themselves out of it. And I'm talking about our mainstream politicians. Well, let's examine the two main parties. We're talking about the DUP here. We're talking about the UUP here. I mean, are they, which I believe, but I can't make this determination myself. I scratch my head sometimes and I try to wonder if the UUP are just out and out virtue signalers trying to latch on to any woke agenda in order to gain a vote, because they're not capable of gaining the British Unionist vote after what they did on British Unionists on the run up to the Belfast Agreement. It was a disguise. It was built for appeasement, swindle and lies. The peace is a farce. Their guns, the IRA guns, are still there. And London's afraid of another bomb scare. And who was it that delivered that? Well, that was the UUP. And their leadership was handsomely rewarded for signing us up to a document which was laced with constructive ambiguity, which wasn't actually worth the paper that it was written on. And that was admitted by Jonathan Powell, one of Tony Blair's chief aides, live on national television. That was admitted, that the Belfast Agreement, well, they wouldn't have had a Belfast Agreement if they didn't swindle the people with words to mean something that they actually didn't. So let's park that there for a moment and let's remember what the UUP done. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the UUP would like to actually come on here and talk to us and tell us that we are wrong, that they are doing things in a meaningful, proactive way, which is capable of saving British Unionism and capable of delivering for British Unionism in a way that British Unionists in Northern Ireland actually deserve. Now, we're on to the DUP right now. And I have to say, look, for a long time, people that come to this screen, they can see, they will understand. You just have to look back that we've talked about some of the silly decisions that our British Unionist politicians have been making. But largely, we've given them a bit of scope to get on with what it is that they have been doing. But right now, people, we are in a time of constitutional crisis. And we don't have time on our side, but yet our British Unionist politicians, they seem to be AWOL. They seem to be absent without leave. I mean, I see the Sinn Féiners and they're taking advantage of absolutely everything. We see, little Jeffrey, like a pop-up, the odd time coming and creating the odd soundbite. And we see, people like, what is it we call that guy? Is it Gordon Lance, is it? He's the new economy minister. People can't correct me if I'm wrong, but I see him with his little MasterCard yesterday. Everybody's getting a credit card. No, it's not a debit card, or it's not a preloaded card, or it's not a prepaid card. Apparently it's a credit card. I wonder why that they're loading £100 onto a credit card for. And do our unionist politicians actually know more than what they're letting on? Well, let's just examine the way that Stormont works. Let's just examine how that it is that they combine with your enemies, with my enemies, in order to pull the wool over British unionist people's eyes. And for too long that this has been going on, for too long. And isn't it time that this was actually stopped? And I'm going to come to a solution to this problem as we speak on. So again, I ask the question, are our British unionist politicians, those that we elect, those that are in leadership within British unionism in Northern Ireland, are they collaborators, or are they actually fighting the good fight? So let's examine a few pictures, and we'll try to show you something in a way that people can make up their own minds. And then what we'll do is that we'll come to the conclusion, and we'll come to a solution to our dilemma. It is our dilemma. I don't think that our British unionist politicians actually care about the fact that we are in times of absolute constitutional crisis. We are in danger of not only losing our place in Northern Ireland within the United Kingdom. In fact, we have lost our place. Make no mistake, we have, ever since January of this year, when the protocol came in place, when we were half-handed to the EU, for the EU to make rules, and we've no say over those rules, and not actually according to some of the human rights laws that is written down. That is actually illegal. But yet we are half in the EU and half in the UK, but separated from the rest of the UK in terms of having goods and services delivered. And with the EU making more and more and more rules by directive, people, they are in the position whereby that what they are doing is that they are waging a war, a constitutional war here on the United Kingdom and on the people in Northern Ireland. And also they are waging an economic war in terms of reorientating the goods towards the south, and then those goods are being fed by the EU. What sort of a position is that to be in for a constituent part of the United Kingdom? And why are our politicians not actually doing anything about this? Let's go to a few pictures and let's remind people of what it is that our politicians do in the background, what it is that they don't tell you that they do, and how that it is that they work with your enemies, with my enemies, in order to derail our successes. Effectively, people, they joined the other team. They continuously join the other team to score goals against that which they claim to represent. And why do they do this? They do this to make themselves look good, to keep themselves in favour, to keep themselves in power, and in order that you and that I don't understand what it is that they're doing behind our backs. So let's go to these few pictures, and then we're going to bring up a few items of news which has hit our screens just today. And we're going to be talking about some of the things that we see that is happening, that potentially will come in the very, very near future, and how that I believe that our unionist politicians have played for time, are playing the putting things on the long finger waiting game. And something that's coming up, as I said earlier on, very shortly in September, maybe a wee bit later, we'll all be locked down again, and then there's nothing they can do about it again, and then the protocol beds in even further. People, this problem needs sorted out right now. This no messing about. It has to be sorted out. And I'm reminded of the words, and I said this the other evening, words came from a Dublin pastor whilst I was interviewing him, and he talked about Nazi Germany, and he talked about a Christian in Nazi Germany, a man who overseen the church, and he's a guy called Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and he said There was a time when Christians in Nazi Germany, at the rise of the Nazis, when there was a time when they should have stood up and they didn't, right? And then he says there was a time when they needed to stand up and they couldn't. You know, we're at the point whereby that we should stand up. But will we? I think that we're going to have to. I think that we're going to have to. I think that we're going to have to make haste. I think that we're going to have to make a stand against our own politicians before that it is that we actually can't stand up against them. And I believe that time is fast approaching. So let me just show you what it is that they do in order to swindle us. Now, for the people that come to our screen on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, twice weekly, for the people that come here consistently, you may have actually seen these pictures. So I'm going to pop you up 3 pictures in succession. And what we're going to do is that we're going to take you on a slight journey just to show you how that it is that things are orchestrated at the Stormont level, in order that they can be put out, in order that they can be shown within the public domain, in order that it creates a perception within the public domain. And what are these people doing? These people are actually swindling their own electorate, and they're working hand in glove with our enemies to swindle us and to work in a way that actually scores goals against that which our politicians claim to represent. So starting with picture number 1. Okay, people, this is a picture of Arlene Foster at the Martin McGuinness funeral. Now, on the lead up to the Martin McGuinness funeral, there was great talk in the media. Will Arlene go to Martin McGuinness's funeral? Will she not go to Martin McGuinness's funeral? And this played out for about a week. And on the day of the event, Arlene Foster, well, according to what we see in the picture just in front of us, she arrived with absolute style. And not only did she arrive in style, but she made a huge impact. And in fact, this overshadowed, in my honest opinion, Martin McGuinness being buried. Now, ask yourself a question. I'm going to point out something in this picture and ask yourself a question. There's Gerry Adams in front of Michelle O'Neill, reaching through Bill Clinton to the right-hand side and Gerry Adams to the left-hand side. And none of those people, either Bill Clinton or Gerry Adams, is blinking or batting an eyelid at Michelle nearly knocking Bill Clinton off his feet. And there's Bill Clinton with his hands still out, as if he's having a chat with someone. But you know something, people? I'm going to tell you something, that this was stage managed, that this was a stage managed picture, that this was orchestrated at Stormont level, that this was orchestrated in a way. Now, I'm going to use a terminology here. The terminology is this: hands across the divide. Now, remember those words. Remember, hands across the divide. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly change this picture just to show you that how that these people, how that these spinners, these spin, swindle and fudge merchants, how that it is that they constantly, how that it is they con us, that they swindle us, that they make us think and they make believe that something is going on when it's absolutely not, when everything is actually stage managed. So there you go. Have a look at that picture. Have a look at Bill Clinton. He doesn't bat an eyelid, nor does Gerry Adams. Okay, here's what we're going to do next. Whilst she reaches out in a particular way to grab Arlene Foster's hand in a way that, let me just show you something. Next picture. Now, what I've done is that I have overshadowed that picture with a statue which is at the end of a bridge in Londonderry. I think it sits at the end of the, don't get me, I'll find out the name of the bridge in a minute. Maybe one of the bridges, Craigavon Bridge. Don't quote me on the bridge that it's there. However, in Londonderry, there's a statue, and that statue is what I have overshadowed that picture with. Now have a look at that reach out. Now have a look at the way that statue, the way that it was reaching out. And if you go and you read about that statue, well, you see that statue, it signified the reaching out between two communities in Londonderry. You know, it was meant to be that there was peace, and it was meant to be that the two communities were actually reaching out in a way that they were putting the bitterness and the hatred of the past behind them. So it symbolised the coming together of people in Londonderry. That's what that signified, and by extension, people right across the United Kingdom. Now, have a look at that statue, which I've overshadowed that picture with. Now, below it, I have written, "Hands across the divide." Now, the question is, was this picture in which 1992, or was it 2017? You see, 1992 is when that statue was put into place, the Hands Across the Divide statue. 2017 was the Martin McGuinness funeral. So again, to the new people on the screen, because we see that the numbers are going up very, very high, what I'm actually aiming at is that our politicians, well, what they do is instrument that they work with those that mean us most harm in order to swindle our own people, the British Unionist electorate here in Northern Ireland. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm inviting the DUP to come on here and to talk to us and to tell us that we're getting this absolutely wrong. But I don't believe that I am wrong here. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go to another little picture. Bear with me. Okay, this is the actual picture in Londonderry. And this is the reach out. This is the statue that is in place. Is that the Craigavon Bridge? People will remind me if that's the Craigavon Bridge. You've got to excuse me. I don't know which bridge that it is. So there's the statue that was put in place in 1991. So let's go back again to show you, and let's just talk slightly about it. Who remembers this picture? In 2017. And again, for the new people on the screen, I'm just going to recap, is that for a week in our media, it was, will Arlene Foster go to Martin McGuinness' funeral? Will she not go? Well, she did. She arrived, and she arrived in style. And this was the first thing that happened as she went to the funeral. And just look at that picture. For the new people, you tell me that Michelle O'Neill nearly knocked Bill Clinton down to the right-hand side of that picture. And Bill Clinton goes on talking to somebody with his hands out. And you tell me that Gerry Adams didn't bat an eyelid, whilst Michelle nearly knocks them down to reach across the divide in a hands across the divide type handshake. People, are these people collaborators, or are these people actually fighting the good fight? Now, I wanted to actually show those pictures for a reason. I wanted to show those pictures because today, and I don't know whether this is right, whether this is wrong, but this is something that I know quite a bit about. There is a report that has been in the executive office for quite some time. You know, I mean, I remember writing about this report probably way back in, was it 2017? Was it 2018? This is now 2021. And, you know, I remember writing about this report. They called it the FICT report, the report on flags, identity, culture, and tradition. And, you know, that report that was being compiled was being compiled by people like Nelson McCausland, by people like Doug Beattie, by people like, let me just think, I can't mention these names because they're Irish, but Adrian McAnellis, something along those lines. I had a good go at it, so don't be blaming me for getting the Irish pronunciation. And was it Tom Hartley, I think, was also in the equation? Anyway, if I'm wrong about some of the Sinn Féiners, there were two Sinn Féiners. There was also people like Tom Hennessy. Tom Hennessy, he was involved with the Ulster Unionist Party, by the way. Tom Hennessy is an academic. I mean, we often have a joke about Tom and say that Tom is a champagne socialist. You know, I think he spent £7,000 of FICT money on hotels and maybe £6,000. It might be the other way around, on planes coming back and forward. And I remember asking Tom, I mean, where was he staying? Was he staying in the Merchant? Was he drinking champagne on ice every single night? And Tom, he calls himself a socialist. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The FICT report is the thing that we're talking about. And there has been reports today that the FICT report has actually been leaked. Now, let me tell you a wee bit about the FICT report. In 2019, I remember I was talking to Nelson McCausland, I was talking to Tom Hennessy, and I was actually saying to them that I would love to see the content of the FICT report that they are preparing. That's a report on flags, identity, culture, and tradition. I would love to see what was in it. Well, cut a long story short, I remember Tom Hennessy finishing off by saying, John, I've been told to tell you and anyone else that you have to go to the executive office and all questions being directed towards them. Well, I was told that the FIC report was coming out in December of 2019. Well, it didn't arrive out, was the truth of the matter. Then I think it was January or February of 2000 and was it 2000? Let me get the dates right. It might have been December 2018. The FIC report was due out. So January, February of 2019. I remember watching the Sunday politics program one Sunday evening, and I remember Paula Bradshaw of the Alliance Party saying, well, now that we've seen the FIC report, and I went, wow. But Tom Hennessy had said that the FIC report hadn't been out, that Nelson McCausland was saying that the FIC report wasn't due, that they were reporting that the FIC report hadn't been seen, but yet the Alliance Party had actually seen it. So who has seen this FIC report? Why has this FIC report not been published since way back in those days? This thing has cost thousands upon thousands upon thousands of pounds to actually produce. Now let me tell you what happens. Once something enters the executive office, which used to be called and termed the Office of First Minister and Deputy First Minister, once something goes into that office, there are two First Ministers which don't, take in this nonsense that there's a First Minister and a Deputy First Minister. There are two joint First Ministers within that office, and what they have to do is they have to agree whether this report would be released. Now, since then, since January, February time of 2019, that report, then it was said that it would be out again in the spring, summertime. And I think there was a few words from the report that was actually published, which actually didn't tell anybody anything. But that report from that day to this has sat in the executive office. And your DUP leadership, Arlene Foster, has seen that. If Edwin Poots has seen that, I would say that now that Paul Given is in that office, he has seen that report. And is there something in that report that British Unionist people aren't going to like? Have they arrived at a situation whereby that more of British Unionist culture here in Northern Ireland would be taken away, would be removed, would be recommended by this FIC report? People, there was meant to be a leaked copy of this report that came out today. If anyone on this screen can get us a copy of this leaked report, the text of this leaked report, I would love to see it. I would really love to see it, because I believe that the reason why that report has sat in the executive office from late 2018, December 2018, right till today's date, I believe that the reason why it sat there from that day to this is that there's a lot of stuff in that report that British Unionists aren't going to like. Now, I seen it written by someone today that will this report be published this side of an election? No, it won't. It won't. And if it is, I will eat my hat. But I would suggest that it'll come out once they get elected, once that they con your vote, once that they swindle your vote. Then what they will do is that they will publish the unpalatable to the British Unionist people here in Northern Ireland. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm totally wrong. And if I'm wrong, what we need is that we need a DUP on here. We need the UUP on here to tell us what is in this report, to tell us if we are going to like what's in this report, to tell us if that any more of our British Unionist culture here in Northern Ireland is going to be removed. People, remember what tradition is. Tradition is this, that coming up to the marching season here in Northern Ireland, what do? We fly our flags. Our bunting goes across the roads. We put up orange arches. This is what happens here in Northern Ireland, and that is part of the Unionist tradition. That's part of our culture. That is what it is all about, to be part of the Loyal Orders, part of the marching band fraternity, part of everyday life for British Unionists here in Northern Ireland, to fly their flag if it is that which they want to do. But if what is leaked in this report is true, well, there could be a situation whereby that if you live in a housing executive property Are the housing executive going to move to suggest to you that you can't fly your flag from their property? What British unionists in Northern Ireland would actually agree to this? People, do our British unionist politicians, do they collaborate? Are they collaborators? Or are they fighting the good fight? Now, that is a real, genuine question here for British unionist politicians here in Northern Ireland. Now, what I'm going to do again, I'm going to play a little clip from Jeffrey Donaldson. I'm going to play this. I just see one of our background team has popped up something there, and I am looking forward to reading this leaked copy of the FIC report. So what I'm going to do is that, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, people. If you give me a few minutes, I'm going to quickly go to a cover song. I'm going to play a cover song, and I'm going to try to retrieve that report so that I can quickly scan it and we can talk some more about the report. And if we can't read it in time, if it's too big to pick out the juicy bits in the detail, if it's too big to do that, then what we're going to do is that we will move on with what it is that we're here to do. Now, one more question before I go, and I'll continue to emphasize this as we go on. Are our British unionist leaders, those that we elect, those that are in positions of power, are they collaborators, or are they fighting the good fight for and on behalf of British unionists here in Northern Ireland? And let me just make something very clear. It is my right in a democratic society to say this. It is my right in a country where my forefathers went and fought for the rights for me to say this, for free speech, for freedom of expression, for me to be able to point out corruption where corruption exists, for me to be able to hold my politicians to account, those that I elect, for me to point out where that it is that things are going wrong. And you know something? I intend to use my right, as I will use that right for and on behalf of each and every one in our live chat and those that follow Restore UK. People, share this screen. Tag people into the screen. This could be good when we read this here. Give us a love, give us a like. If you're new to the screen, ensure that you click the like button, you click the love button in order that we can get to invite you to this platform in the very, very near future. So I'm going to look for a cover song here, something that I can play whilst I go and have a quick look at this report. So just bear with me for a second. If I hadn't have been late, we might have been over this detail already. But look, we can move. We've been doing this long enough, let's just say, to be able to read and do and fill in as and where that is required. And, and it's all down to the people that comes and follows this platform. If you people didn't follow us and give us the support every single week, twice a week, and we've been doing this for quite some time now. If you people hadn't of supported this platform, well, we wouldn't be able to do what it is that we do. So let me just quickly get a little song. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play another song. Listen, how can we protect you in this crazy world? Listen to this one, and we'll be back very shortly.
Can I protect you in this crazy world? It's alright, yeah, it's alright. I have fallen
So there we go. We're back, and I have to say that we we weren't able to read things so quickly. So let's just do this. Let's do this for a moment or two. Um, for Billy Mitchell, dear Declan Kearney, Sinn Féin, an executive paper on progress in the FIC report was approved by the executive on the 25th of March 2021. That is March, right? So 25th. So April, May, June, July, August, right? We're coming to the end of August. There's 5 months, okay? And so 25th of March 2021, a FIC working group involving junior ministers, special advisors and officials is taking forward the steps set out in the executive paper, including cross-departmental engagement. Decisions on publication of the FIC report will be a matter for the executive ministers working together. Sinn Féin demands and fingerprints dictating that what British unionists can do. I just can't read the rest of that there. But look, I think we get the gist. Thank you very much for that, Billy, because that is actually very, very helpful. And actually, for tonight's stream, are British unionist politicians, those that we elect to serve and protect us, are they collaborators or are they fighting the good fight? You see, let's just point out something from what we just see here in front of us, is that 25th of March 2021, that a working group involving junior ministers, special advisors and officials is taking forward the steps set out in the executive paper, including cross-departmental engagement, and that's to do with the FIC working group, okay? So now, so we know that junior ministers would be over the detail of this, okay? We also know that that those that is set foot in the executive office, Emma Pengelly has seen what's in that FIC report. Edwin Poots has seen what's in that FIC report. Paul Given has seen what's in that FIC report. Arlene Foster has seen what's in that FIC report. And who else has seen what's in that FIC report? So people, you remember this and remember this well. Just remember this well. If there's anything that comes out of that FIC report that seeks to destroy any more of British unionist culture here in Northern Ireland, we know who to blame. You know who to blame. Now, let's not let the UUP off the hook, because Doug Beattie was part of the conglomerate that actually wrote that FIC report, that arrived at the conclusions in that FIC report. Are British unionist politicians collaborators or fighting the good fight? And when they don't talk to us, when they hide things, when they do things under the cover of darkness, when they do things under the table, behind closed doors, and in a way that is orchestrated by Stormont, and in a way that is designed to pull the wool over our British unionist people's eyes, well, people, is it any wonder that we're in the situation that we're actually in? It beggars belief. It really beggars belief. Now, I have a solution to this problem, and I'm going to ask, the numbers are very, very high, and I'm going to ask people to actually stay with us so that we can get to this solution come the end. We're not going to be staying any longer. This is the top of the hour coming up. We're not going to be staying any longer than, say, 10:30 this evening. We've been here for an hour and a half, and we're going to come to what it is that we need to do. And again, I'm going to mention these words. And you know, these words were brought to me by a Dublin pastor. And he said he was reading a book, and it was a book by Eric Maxtes, and it was on a man called Dietrich Bonhoeffer. And it was at the time of the rise of Hitler and Nazis. And this man called Dietrich Bonhoeffer, he was a Christian. And you know, there was a great quote in that book, and the great quote went, "There was a time when we should have stood up and we didn't. Then there was a time when we needed to stand up and we couldn't. Right now, people, we are on the time where we should stand up. And, you know, don't be even putting this in your equation. Don't make it that we didn't stand up. We're going to have to stand up, because there's fast becoming a time that we are going to need to stand up and we're not going to be able to. So we're going to need to make a stand now. Literally now. Time isn't on our side. And who's the stand going to be against? Well, people, I will show you as we go that I believe that the only people, let's just lay something out bare here for you. So let's lay something completely bare. Let's break the equation down. Let's look at what a working equation is here, okay? Right, first and foremost, let's give a title. The title is Constitutional Changing Protocol. What part of that do we not understand? The protocol is constitutional changing for the people here in Northern Ireland. The protocol will destroy Northern Ireland's place within the United Kingdom. It already has from the 1st of January. The protocol will eventually break up the rest of the United Kingdom. So the title of this group, let's just call it, is the Constitutional Changing Protocol. Now, let's break that group down and let's understand what parts, what is the equation there? What is the working equation within that group? The working equation is this. We have the EU. We have the British government. We have our British unionist politicians, being the DUP, the UUP, the PUP, the TUV. We have the Irish government. Okay, there's another part of the equation. Then we have the nationalist and republic politicians. That would be Sinn Féin and the SDLP. Then we have those that say that they are nothing, but they're on the pan-nationalist front, which are the Alliance Party and the Greens. So if we break that down, we have several groups. Now, let's not even try to count the groups, but this is how to understand this. Now, ask yourself a question. If British Unionists were to protest against anyone within that working equation, will we successfully change anything? Ask yourself that question. I'm going to answer it for you, because the answer is no. You will not change anything if you protest against the British government. You will not change anything if you protest against the Irish government. You will not change anything if you protest against the EU. You will not change anything if you protest against Sinn Féin and the SDLP. You will not change anything if you protest against the Alliance Party and the Green Party. But will we change things if we make meaningful, proactive protest against the DUP, against the UUP, if we hit them where it hurts, if we threaten them with the only thing that they understand, and the only thing that they understand is our vote, is your vote, is our collective vote. And that's where we need to hit them. We need to win the hearts and minds within British unionism to show that these people won't get up off their knees, that these people won't make meaningful, proactive protest against the protocol, that these people conspire in the background to remove more and more and more of British unionist culture here in Northern Ireland, and at a time when we elected them to stand up for everything British and everything unionist here in Northern Ireland. So there we have it. There we have a working equation which was broken it down. We were calling the title of this thing the Constitutional Changing Protocol. How do we remove that? We remove that by making meaningful, proactive protest against our politicians and ensuring that our politicians, in turn, they make meaningful, proactive protest against the protocol. So how do they start? I can tell you, I give them a few ideas if they don't know. We had Jeffrey Donaldson just a few days ago. We had him attending to North-South meetings when he said that he wouldn't. We have them, saying that things are going to get tough. And if we go to these meetings, well, we're not going to talk about the protocol. The protocol is the main topic within British unionism today. And he's not going to talk about the protocol. I just don't know what a leader is, if that is what a leader is. People, we need to protest against our British unionist politicians. And I'm going to ask people today here on Restore UK, I'm going to ask people to take part in protest, take part in meaningful, proactive protest against the DUP. Small things, create your own things, go and do your own things. Here at Restore UK, we are about to create some banners. We are about to create some banners which will show that our British unionist politicians, those that we got behind, those that we elected, those that we put in power to serve and protect us, well, what they're doing is they are not working for and on behalf of British unionism here in Northern Ireland. And I'm going to also say to my nationalist friends, to my Catholic friends that will come on this screen, why are we making this protest? Why do we feel that we need to make this protest? Well, that is because the British unionist people in Northern Ireland are being treated like second-class citizens, they weren't delivered to democracy the same way as people in England, Scotland and Wales, even though that we all voted on the same ballot paper in the referendum. You know, we have had our democracy removed. We are being treated like second-class citizens. We are in danger of losing our country. We are in danger of losing our nationality, our Britishness, and every single thing that we held so dear. So to my nationalist and Catholic friends, I ask the question. I ask you to understand. How would you feel if the shoe was on the other foot? This is why that we need to make this protest, and why I'm saying that we need to make this protest. We don't want young people getting on the streets. We don't want people getting criminal records. We need to do the right thing. We need to target the DUP. We need to target the UUP. We need to insist and ensure that these people get up off their knees and they begin mounting a fight back against this protocol, which has been in place for 8 months. 8 months. 8 months is way too long, people. People, leave your messages in the live chat. Don't forget to give us a like, a love, a share. Don't forget to tag people into the live chat. And don't forget to insist that other people come back and watch this screen, because we have a proposal coming very, very shortly on how that it is that we are going to get the ball rolling against the DUP. And solely what our protest against the DUP is, and the UUP, is that we want them to get up off their knees. We want them to begin fulfilling the promises that they give in December of 2019, whenever they said that they would be taking a tough line with Sinn Féin IRA. What was it Jeffrey said before that whenever he was standing up against Edwin Poots? He said that he will be taking a tough line on Sinn Féin IRA. He will be taking a tough line also in anything that aggresses against, and this is me paraphrasing, anything that aggresses against British unionism here in Northern Ireland, namely the protocol. And what have we seen from Jeffrey? We have seen fine words. We heard him saying just a few days ago that he was doing things consistent with the DUP party's stated position. Stated position to who? Stated position that he brought out once he got elected and once he became leader. But he didn't state that before he became leader. He stated completely the opposite. And that's what you have as British unionist politicians. And if you can trust that, I don't know, you are easily fooled. People, I'm going to play a little video clip here, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk some more. But I hope that you get the gist here. I hope that you understand that we need to make meaningful, proactive protest against our politicians who are working in the background against our best interest. Make no mistake about it, the very fact that they're not making meaningful, proactive protest against the protocol is the very thing that will finish the entire United Kingdom. Who will we blame? I leave that answer to you.
Task ahead is great. I do not underestimate the challenge. But I know that the overwhelming majority of people who live here want Northern Ireland to keep moving forward. I have the vision to lead unionism into its second century by embracing those who believe in Northern Ireland, a place where people of all identities and none can live, work and raise their family. I have the vision to unite Northern Ireland and to heal the divisions of the past. We don't move forward by ignoring the past, but by remembering and learning from it. I have the vision to lead a strong democratic unionist team who will inspire and command the confidence of those we are privileged to represent. The Northern Ireland Assembly is the place where every element of our society is represented. The coalition government is often unwieldy, but it ensures that every voice is heard. Such partnership is how we must move forward. It must be based on respect for each other's mandate. To that end, I will be speaking with the Prime Minister at the earliest opportunity to emphasise that it is not realistic to expect stability in Northern Ireland when every unionist representative in the devolved institutions is strongly opposed to the Northern Ireland Protocol. The government and those who claim to be the protectors of peace and stability here must step up and deal with the protocol in a manner which respects the constitutional and economic integrity of the United Kingdom. I want to bring stability to Northern Ireland and to encourage everyone to focus on what unites us as a people, rather than that which divides us. There has been too much focus on division and recrimination, both within unionism and within Northern Ireland. I will play my part, but the government and Brussels must step up and recognise the flaws of the protocol and how it was foisted upon the people of Northern Ireland.
So there you go, people. That is Jeffrey. You hear him saying that, and look, again, this is, you know, when he's elected. This is when he's elected. Whenever he was standing up against Edwin Poots, he said that he wasn't going to take any nonsense from Sinn Féin IRA. Yet here they are in the executive office, having seen the protocol. Like, we've now got a copy of it. I didn't realise that someone had actually published it, and it was linked to someone. So we'll have a look at that. We'll have a look at the detail of that. But look, this is the seriousness of this before I even read what's in the FIC report, because I've been following that FIC report for many, many years, as I had said. And in that FIC report, it is anticipated that there'll be a lot of things in it that British Unionists actually won't like, and that our political leaders seemingly, now here's why they sometimes leak things. They leak things in order that they engage the response of the people on the ground. They put it into the public domain to see what the response is going to be. And then, well, depending on the response, well, they can understand what it is that they can get away with and what it is that they can't. Well, people, we need to read through that report. We need to understand everything that's in it, and we need to give our response to the DUP. And we need to say to those people, if there's something that we don't like, not in our name. We don't give you the authority to do it. For too long have you been incrementally giving away all that it is that we hold so dear, and we're now not going to be taking it anymore. So what are we going to be doing? Let me explain. I mentioned to the people here on Monday evening, but I've said for a very, very long time that if our politicians, if they don't get up off their knees and if they don't mount a meaningful, proactive protest in a way that defends, protects, and enhances British unionism against all that means us the most harm, that includes the constitutional change in protocol, that includes the weaponisation of the Irish Language Act, that includes all that public Republicans have foisted upon us and insisted that they get and went over the heads of British unionists and got and walked around British unionists and went to the British government and have been given all because of the threat of violence. People, what we have to do is, if they won't stand up, we need to stand up against them. We really do. We need to use our right in a democracy to hold these people to account. And that is exactly what I intend doing. That is exactly what I hope that others on this screen will do along with me and along with others. And I'm going to tell you what I anticipate doing very, very soon, very, very soon. And I mean sooner than you think. But I anticipate standing outside DUP offices. I anticipate holding banners in front of DUP offices, actually pointing out what these people are doing on our community and demanding that these people get up off their knees and mount a meaningful, proactive protest. And if they don't, well, then we will continue to protest against them in every single way and shape and fashion that is imaginable, with absolutely nothing off the table. Because it has come to that. We don't have time on our side. And when we see these people working with our enemies, going to north-south meetings, not even saying anything and letting this protocol bed in and letting it bed in a way that will soon be locked down. Remember what I said? There is a time that we needed to stand up, and don't let that be the time that we didn't, because there's fast becoming a time that we're going to need to stand up. And, you know, maybe we will not be able to when it's too late. So let's make that protest whilst we still can. That's what we need to do. And I do hope that there's many people on this screen that will join me and join others. Look, we've already talked to people in different parts of this country, and already people are actually up for this. So, and what I'm hoping is that the people, like you did on the run up to the proposed boycott of Irish goods, in order to get some banners prepared, get some banners ready, I hope that the people on this screen will actually help us mount this meaningful, proactive protest against our mainstream political parties, holding them to account, not letting them away with anything, and insisting that they do the job that they were elected to do, and no more drip feeding what it is that we, drip feeding all of our culture into this melting pot and in a way that it is lost and gone forever. People, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pop up a little PayPal link into your chat. Now, there are several places where this is broadcast to this evening. The Unionist People's Voice, the British Unionist People's Voice on Facebook, the Restore UK on Facebook, Restore UK on YouTube, and there's several channels with this platform where it has been actually published to this evening. So, and the numbers are very, very high and have remained high the entire evening. So what I'm going to ask people to do is, if you can put in £1, £2, £10, £5, and this isn't begging, this is asking people to help us do this, help us put this DUP behind the 8-ball and in their box for once and for all, because nothing ever happens. Nothing happens at all. The needle returns to the start of the song, and they expect us all to sing along like before. Look, isn't it time that we expose these charlatans for exactly what they're doing? And if they're not charlatans, well then, they need to come on here and they need to tell us that they're not. They need to show us what they're doing. They need to show us what they're doing meaningfully and proactively. They need to talk to people. They need to. Need I say any more, people? We will make this protest against these people, and we will continue to protest against them. We will continue to highlight what that it is that they're doing on our community, and what that it is that has never changed ever since that I have been a lad. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to pop up this. Look, I just see our loyal follower there from Scotland that puts money in regularly to us. And Jackie, honestly, we're not asking for people that continue to put money in anyway for any more than they already do. And look, what we're asking for here is for British Unionist people to get behind an attempt to shame our mainstream politicians into getting up off their knees and fighting back. That's what we demand, and nothing else will be satisfactory. Nothing else. This little link that'll pop up here, you'll find it on the British Unionist People's Voice. You'll find it on the YouTube channel, which is here, Restore UK. And you will also find it on the Restore UK Facebook channel. And if you can click on that link, and if you could put in £1, £5, £10, whatever, just enough to get us off the ground with making some banners, making some protest banners against these political parties. And then what we will do, because there are people that have offered to do it, people that have offered to make static protest. It is your right, my right, everybody else's right in a democracy to hold your politicians to account, to hold our politicians to account, to point out corruption, to use your freedom of speech and freedom of expression to shame these people into doing their job in a way that is conducive. Now, let's make this clear, in a way that is conducive to ensuring that there is no portion of the people here in Northern Ireland that is treated like second-class citizens. It is our absolute right. We have the moral high ground to do this here, and we need to name and shame the politicians that are doing absolutely nothing about fighting meaningfully and proactively against this constitutional changing protocol. People, if you can put anything into that link, please do, and you will see the fruits of what it is that you put in, because coming to a DUP office near you very soon, you will see what meaningful proactive protest actually looks like, and in a way that names and shames these charlatans for what it is that they're doing. And if you're a DUP member, and if you're not a charlatan, if you are a UUP member, and if you think that you're not a charlatan, well then you come on here and you talk to us and you dispute what it is that we are saying. We can ask some questions, and you Tell the people what it is that you're doing in a meaningful, proactive way, what it is that you're doing to change things. Remember what we said? The equation is this, that we have the British government, the Irish government, the European Union, the Shinners, the SDLPers, the Alliance, the Greens. Then we have our own politicians, the mainstream Ulster Unionist Party and the DUP. And if we look right across that working equation, there is only one section of that working equation that we can put the fear of God into, that we can ensure that they get up and that they do the right thing. We can't do that anywhere else. So let's target our resources exactly where it matters and exactly where it's going to make a difference. What we're going to do, people, is that we're going to go to the live chat. Thanks very much for coming along. Thanks very much for listening. And I'm going to ask this question once more. Are they collaborators, or are they actually fighting the good fight? Now, that's a question mark. That is a question mark. That is for the DUP. That is for Timmy Johnston when he comes back to watch this. Are you a collaborator, Timmy? Are you and John Robinson in the DUP press office, are you collaborators, or are you actually fighting the good fight? Is Jeffrey Donaldson a collaborator? Is Edwin Poots a collaborator? Is, I'm just thinking of other people. Emma Pengelly, are you a collaborator? Or are you fighting the good fight? And if you are not a collaborator, if you're fighting the good fight, come and show us how that you're showing you're fighting the good fight. What it is that you're doing to have this constitutional changing protocol removed. And let's not just get into fight right now, because we'll deal with that properly once we've read the leaked report. That's what we need to do. People, let me go to the live chat. Sometimes these things have to be done. Sometimes these things have to be done. They have to be done, because if we don't make a stand against these people will give away everything that we have ever believed in. And I'm not prepared to let that happen. I'm a British Unionist. I was born here in Northern Ireland as a British person. I have a birthright. My birthright is to be British. I'm part of the United Kingdom. Northern Ireland is a constituent part of the United Kingdom, and a so-called internationally recognised agreement suggests that that's the way that it is. But yet we are under the threat of IRA violence, under the threat of bombed-out border posts happening. That was Leo Varadkar that threatened that. Simon Coveney, well, he's Alan Marshall's good mate, Doug Beattie's friend's good mate. They're happy to work with the Irish government. The Irish government are our enemies, are your enemies, are my enemies, are every British Unionist's enemies here in Northern Ireland. And they're not showing me anything to show me that they are our friends. They are not our friends. They are not your friends. They are not. And yet our mainstream politicians, they think that they can go and they can work away with those people. And it doesn't matter about British Unionists here in Northern Ireland. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter if you elect these people. They just do what they want, and they are making an absolute mess of things. And it's time that we put a stop to it. It is absolute time. I'm up for it. I hope that everybody else is. And, well, there are people right around this country that are also up for it. So over to the DUP, over to the UUP. Let's change things. Let's change things now. Let's insist. Let's ensure. Let's come and talk to the people. Let's create a people-politician partnership. Let's put people on a committee of what flows in this country and what doesn't. What British Unionists are prepared to accept and what they're not. Let's draw a shared, agreed set of principles. Let's ensure that there are things that are our red lines, never to be capitulated, never to be negotiated upon. That's what we need to do. And we need to have everyone singing off the same hymn sheet. Will the DUP come to us? Will the DUP work with us? Will the UUP work with us? Will they work with other British Unionist politicians? That remains to be seen. But if not, we're coming to the DUP. We are going to protest meaningfully and proactively against the DUP, and we are going to show what the DUP leadership are doing, what they're not doing. We're going to show their inactions. We're going to show their inabilities. We're going to show their unwillingness to fight for and on behalf of British unionism here in Northern Ireland. That's what we need to do. We should have been doing it a long time ago, but the time has come that soon we won't be able to do it, so we need to do it now whilst we still can. People, I'm going to play another little video clip here, and then what I'm going to do, it's 20 past, we'll go to the live chat, and then I'll be out of here at 10:30. Sorry for keeping everyone so late this evening, but again, I was late, so I was, and yeah, it was just unavoidable, and it had to be done. So here's a good song. Here's a good cover song to understand what it is that we've been thrusting at this evening. What about us? What about the electorate? Edward Carson. I was only a puppet. I was a humble rung on a ladder that helped the Conservative Party climb into power. And once in power, they kick away the ladder with no concern for those that they leave behind. Now, that was paraphrased. Now, let's put that in the context of the DUP. And prior, we could put that in the context of the UUP. The UUP are irrelevant right now. They're only, they're following a woke agenda, latching on to absolutely every woke agenda that they can in order to try to get a vote, because they know that the British Unionist people do not trust them anymore. We've just listened to that guy, is it Alan Marshall you call him? The guy that joined in the Shannon, and he's wanting to take us all into United Ireland, a so-called New Ireland. Like, I'll tell you what he can do. He can stuff a New Ireland where the sun doesn't shine, and I mean that politely. And that goes for Doug Beattie too. He can shove it where the sun doesn't shine. Also, we are Unionists. We are British Unionists. And yeah, it's time that we mounted a meaningful, proactive fight back. Now, I'm going to say this in a way that we don't aggress against anyone. We do not. It's not going to be violent. It's not going to be physical. It's going to be a war of words. It's going to be using weapons of words. An army of people must be put together with weapons of words, which will remain and abide forever. That's what needs to happen. So what about us? That's the question. This is a little cover song. We'll be back. We'll talk some more, and we'll go to the live chat. We'll pop up a few of the relevant words, and then we'll see you the next time. So what about us?
We are searchlights we can see in the dark. We are rockets pointing up at the stars. We are billions of beautiful hearts, and you sold us down the river too far. What about us? What about all the times you said you had the answers? What about us? What about all the broken happy ever afters? Oh, what about us? What about all the plans that ended in disasters? What about love? What about trust? What about us? We are problems that want to be solved. We are children that need to be loved. We were willing, we came when you called. Enough is enough. Oh, what about us? What about all the times you said you had the answers? What about us? What about all the broken happy ever afters? Oh, what about us? What about all the plans that ended in disaster? What about love? What about trust? What about us? Sticks and stones, they may break my bones, but then I'll be ready. Are you ready? start of us waking up. Come on, are you ready? I'll be ready. I don't want control, I want to let go. Are you ready? I'll be ready. 'Cause now it's time to let them know we are ready. What about us? What about all the times you said you had the answers? What about us? What about all the broken happy ever after? Oh, what about us? What about all the plans that ended in disasters? What about love? What about trust? What about us? What about love? What about trust? What about us?
So there we go. We're back, and I was just looking at some of the live chat there, and I'm just going to pop a few of the things up here. I just emailed Jeffrey with a few home truths. Doubt he will reply. I asked him to get off his knees and stand up for the Union of Northern Ireland. P.S. I asked him to do a question and answer and restore UK. And look, I'm encouraging everyone on this screen, again, the people that would also come at a later stage to watch this, get in contact with them. Ask them to come on here and explain themselves, because the reality is, and just watch this space, we will be protesting against these people, and we will not back down. We will be pushing these people, because do you know something? There's a constitutional changing protocol in place, and they are doing absolutely nothing to have it removed. And if they say, well, what can we do to have it removed? Well, we will give them a few indications of what needs done in order to remove it. That's what we'll do. We can do that. The DUP should be on duty bound to, here we go. The DUP should be duty bound to publish the FIC report and allow the electorate to vote on it before it's endorsed. Yes, Jordy, absolutely. And the very fact that they're hiding the thing from us. Look, again, let's read that report and let's see what's in it. And again, this will determine what type of protests that we will be doing, what is on the banners of protest, which will be against the DUP and the UUP for the years and years and years of mismanagement and the unwillingness to stand up for the British Unionist electorate here in Northern Ireland, which has resulted in this protocol being put in place. They look so weak. They were compromised in so many fronts with various things that they got involved in, that they found themselves in the positions that anything could be implemented over their heads in order to what? Well, I'm not specifically talking about anyone, so label doesn't really follow here, but in order that they could get themselves off the hook. That's the truth. That is the absolute truth. So let's look for some more chat before that we go on. Looking down in the live chat, if you would like something put up in the live chat, if you leave your message, we'll soon see can we actually do this here. What is coming when it comes? Right, okay, so there's Jim Werner. Drip feeding the people what is coming, so that when it comes, it's expected and there's little opposition. Well, that's not going to happen. We will call it out for what it is. We're going to have to, Jim. We're really going to have to. We're going to have to stand up against the DUP. No ifs, no buts. It has to be done. Again, there's a time when we should stand up, and that time is absolutely now. There's a time which is fast becoming, that we could find ourselves in the position that we need to stand up, and we won't be able to. So let's do it whilst we can. And believe me, we're a wee bit down the road, and we're already started and coming to a DUP office near you very, very soon. Watch this space, and hopefully, not hopefully, but it's going to be DUP offices right around the country, holding banners outside their offices, telling them what we know that they're doing, and that they're useless, and they're not working for and on behalf of the people, and they're capitulating, and they're giving ground, and they're rolling over, and they expect the people to take it. Well, we're not taking it anymore. You see, here we go, and there's Alan Ledger. You're absolutely right, Alan. I'm disgusted by the spineless cards. Yeah, absolutely. Tommy Lloyd, and that's Tommy referring to the little video clip of Jeffrey Donaldson. Empty words, Sir Jeff. Yeah, absolutely, Tommy. Now again, here we go. Sick, listen to your videotapes. Do yourself a watch. There's Jim. See, Jim's sick listening to Jeffrey's videotapes. Do yourself a favour and watch the tapes. You'll soon put yourself off, Jeffrey. With the piffle that you're talking. We don't see you doing anything. We don't see you do. We want to see something happening and happening now. Something meaningful and proactive. Now, here we go. I'm just going down the live chat here as we go. And again, I'm very, very conscious of the time. I'm not really going to be staying on because we know that it's 10:30. And we know that, and again, to the new people that came to the screen, there's been very high numbers this evening. It's been fluctuating. Give us a like, give us a love. Also give this a share. Go back and watch. When this stream is over, you can go back and watch from the very, very start. But just to recap, whilst our mainstream political parties, whilst they won't make a meaningful proactive protest against the constitutional change in protocol, we have to then make a meaningful proactive protest against them. So here's what I'm going to do. Jim, absolutely, let us take a tough line. I'm with you on that. That's what we're going to do. That is our right to do that. Now, here's what I'm going to do before we go. And I will be playing us out with a few of the patriotic songs, but there's something that is happening this Friday night, this Friday evening, beginning at 7 o'clock at the King Billy on the Wall mural at the end of Boyne Bridge. That's at the start of Sandy Row, just up over the Boyne Bridge there. So I would like to ask each and every one of you to attend. If you can get here, come and support this protest. Against the Boyne Bridge removal, and also a protest in terms of the protocol must go. And there's going to be bands at that event. There's going to be various speakers speaking at the event, and it's going to be an evening where you will hear what it is that needs to be said. So I'm encouraging everyone to come along. Please attend this event. This event is a very, very important event, and and again, it's a way for people to come and to meet with people that they know, that meet with people that that they've seen on screen but they haven't met in person. And it's in Sandy Row this Friday evening, starting at 7 o'clock. The speakers commence at 7:30, and it's going to be a very, very good night. So I'd like to encourage each and every one of you to come along to this event and to support the rally at Sandy Row for and on behalf of maintaining the Boyne Bridge, and also a protest against the very fact that we've got a constitutional changing protocol in place, which is destroying Northern Ireland, which has destroyed Northern Ireland's place within the United Kingdom, and which, by extension, if we leave it in place, it will end up destroying the rest of the United Kingdom. Also, people, I would like to pop these here up. We've got several things on a little shop here at Restore. And what I want to do, I wanted to, bear with me for a second. I'm just trying to get a link. Copy this link. How do I copy it? There we go. So it's copied now. Just bear with me for a second. I'm going to pop a link in our screen here. And this is just for the people that come to our live chat that haven't been here before. Again, buy your t-shirts, buy your badges. These t-shirts are protest t-shirts. They're against the protocol. And just like the one I'm wearing, I'll show you in a wee second. But these are the type of t-shirts that we're talking about. I'm going to pop that down. There's our t-shirts. At the end of this little link, I'll just go into the live chat. I'm just going to pop it into the live chat now. Paste. There we go. Now, just bear with me. I'm just going to pop up a link on the screen, and then we're going to talk some more. So there you go. There's a link like that, Ko-fi FM or Ko-fi.com, and that's on Restore UK, the British Unionist People's Voice, on Facebook, and also on Restore UK on YouTube, and all the other channels that this has been shared into. So yes, Robert Crawford, yeah. Again, sorry, I'm just looking at that from Robert. My great-grandfather said that this would happen, and here we are on the cusp of losing everything that we hold so dear. So people, let's not let this happen, and certainly let's not let the charlatans on our own side, those that pretend to be on our own side, those that are working for themselves, Let's not let them get away with destroying British unionism here in Northern Ireland. And if we are wrong, I smile. If we are wrong, come on here and tell us that we are wrong. Come on here and prove that we are wrong. Come on here and tell us what you are doing in a meaningful, proactive way in order to ensure that Northern Ireland has another 100 years. So coming to a DUP office near you very, very soon, protests against the DUP. And why? Because the DUP are on their knees, that they've rolled over, that they are working with our enemies. They've joined the other team to score goals against that which they claim to represent. And we've shown you on a few occasions how that has happened through the FIC report, and we're going to go and read the FIC report. And also we showed you how that had happened up in Londonderry and whenever Martin McGuinness had died. You know, we showed you how that they mimicked the hands across the water statue in a way that symbolised the coming together of communities. Do you know how any British unionist could work to swindle the British unionist people in such a manner? It is unforgivable. But sure, she's away now. She's away now. Let's hope she's in a place where she can't do any more damage, is the truth. And we all know who that we're talking about. So, people, here we go. I'm looking down the live chat to see if there's anything. Everyone needs to get out and support Sandy Rowe, absolutely. Again, we're looking forward to seeing absolutely everybody at Sandy Rowe, 7 o'clock on Friday night. Please come along. And what I'm going to do here, people, as I close the screen, don't go anywhere. I'm going to play us out with just a little snippet of what the Save the Boyne Bridge protest is all about. And, you know, there's two wonderful people that come to this screen and this stream on a weekly basis on every time that we're here. And that is Anne and Billy Dixon. I mentioned Anne first because ladies first, but Anne and Billy Dixon, and they work tirelessly for and on behalf of the people in their own area and for and on behalf of British unionism here in Northern Ireland. And also, they also work tirelessly because they have a faith, they have a Christian faith, and they do God's work, and that is a very, very honourable thing to do. So my hat's off to Anne and Billy Dixon, and I look forward to seeing Anne and Billy Dixon on Friday evening, and so should you. Please come along to the Boyne Bridge event. So what we're going to do is we're going to play us out with a little video clip of what the Boyne Bridge protest is all about. And we have some really, really good speakers coming along. Please come along, find out for yourself. It's going to be a very, very enjoyable night. So as I go, what I'm going to do, please continue to leave the messages on the live chat. Don't forget, that's our shop, Ko-fi.com. And now what we're going to do, and keep leaving your messages on the live chat, because as I play us out with two patriotic songs after this, I'll put the chat up on the live stream and on the screen here. So people, thanks very much for coming along. Thanks very much for yet again listening to me emphasizing where our problems lie. Thanks again for supporting us. Thanks again for the live chat. Don't forget to give us a love, to give us a like, to share this with your friends. And I shall see whoever comes on Friday evening. I look forward to it, as does other people, which I know other people are coming. So over to this little video clip, and then we're going to play us out with two patriotic songs. And until Friday evening, and also we'll also see you next Monday. Thanks very much, people. Good night.
The morning in July in 1690, two great armies were converging on the river Boyne. On the left you had King James of Scotland with 26,000 men. James arrived at the Boyne first and set up his great tents and cannons, and he waited. On the other side, you had King William, Prince of Orange, with 30,000 men. As William rolled through the narrow country lanes of Ireland on that hot sunny July morning in 1690, he was armed with the latest in artillery that day. Finally, William too arrived at the Boyne and set up camp and prepared to do battle. Then at 8 o'clock on the morning of the 1st of July 1690, the Battle of the Boyne started. The fighting lasted throughout the day until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. "1,500 men were killed on that day. James fled the battlefield and William, Prince of Orange, was victorious. Sound your drum and flash your sword. Wade into King James's horde. Watch the wind and thrust the Lord, for we'll die for our Isle, William. On Boyne's great shore, that glorious day, 30,000 that beat their way. For Orange we fight, and for Orange we'll say, we'll die for our Isle, William. Sound your drum, flash your sword, wade into King James's horde. Watch the wind and thrust the Lord, for we'll die for our Isle, William.
There is freedom within, there is freedom without. Try to catch a deluge in a paper cup. There's a battle ahead, many battles are lost, but you never see the end of the road while you're traveling with me. Hey now, don't dream it's over. When the world comes in, they come to build a wall between us. You know that they won't win. Now I'm towing my car, there's a hole in the roof. My possessions are causing me suspicion, but there's no proof. In the paper today tells a warrant of waste, but you turn right over to the TV page. Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now, when the world comes in, they come to build a wall between us. They won't win. To the door of your heart. Only shadows ahead, barely clearing the roof. Get to know the feeling of liberation and relief. Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now, when the world comes in, they come to build a wall between us. You know that they won't win. La da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da da da. Won't let the wind don't
just across the Irish Sea stirs a heart of loyalty, raising honor and indignity, drives a will to keep us British free. Not alone are we on this journey, for in a land just across the sea is a hand that reaches out in friendship, and a bond that's lasted centuries. And its hands across the water, reaching out for you and me, for Queen Ulster and for Scotland, help to keep our loyal people free. And let the cry be no surrender, let no one doubt our loyalty, reaching out to the brave red hand of Ulster is the hand across the sea. Cross the water, reaching out for you and me, for Queen and Ulster and for Scotland, help to keep our loyal people free. Let the cry be no surrender, let no one doubt our loyalty, reaching out to the brave red hand of Ulster is a hand across the sea. Just across the Irish Sea stirs a heart of loyalty, raising honor and dignity, drive the will to keep us British free. Not alone are we on this journey, for in a land just across the sea is a hand Is their hand across the sea? Is their hand across the sea? Is their hand across the sea?
We didn't join Europe to be swallowed up in some bureaucratic conglomerate where it's Euro this and Euro that and forget about being British. We're British and we're proud of it. Proud of our traditions, proud of our national character,